We are here with Julia McCoy today. Super excited to be talking to her. And we're talking all about digital downloads, but more importantly, just all of the many products you can make. And Julia is a master of this. And one reason we really wanted her to come here and talk to us. So, Julia, if you could just give a basic background of yourself, what do you teach? What's your goal with your platform and with your business? And what really is the transformation that you're hoping to offer to anyone who engages with your products?
Yes. Well, thank you so much for the kind introduction. That made my
Of
day.
course, yeah.
But yes, so to answer your question, I didn't start teaching, I think like a lot of people that set out to create courses these days do. I kind of fell into it. So I was building an agency. It was in my seventh year, it was 2017, sixth or seventh year of building the agency. And I had been asked over and over again, it came up in my own team, my own people needed this. Where do we go to learn how to put together a content strategy? And I had been doing content. We were in the range of like 150 projects a month at that time. By the time
Wow.
we sold, we were at 300 a month. So we were a little bit crazy. But at that point, I was like, you know what? I don't really find a practical place to send my people. So there were two directions here. On one hand, I needed to train my people. And then on the other hand, I needed to train our clients and show them what a good content strategy looked like. And, I tried all the courses at the time, went through HubSpot's program, went through several different ones. The stuff ranking at the top of Google even was very ambiguous. So I just realized, okay, it's 2017. Content marketing was worth around 300 billion. Today, it's worth going towards 600 billion. So almost doubled since 2017. So I didn't know that, at the time. That was unknown information to me. And I just put those horse blinds on and began to create. What happened at that time was I saw the opportunity and I just jumped right in. That's my style. There's an opportunity, I'm in to my detriment and fatigue, but
Yeah.
it's worth it. It's always paid off, I have to say. So I was like, okay, let's create a course and a book. And my first course and my first book on this, if I was going to really help the industry, it was going to have to be comprehensive. Like there's no way on earth I could have just created a low ticket offer. At the time, I don't even think I knew what that meant. So what I saw was the industry needed a very practical textbook-like solution. So that's what I did. And one of the books behind me, the blue one over here, actually, Practical Content Strategy and Marketing, it's almost 400 pages. And it corresponds directly to a course that I built within Teachable and launched. And, to date, that course has done about 150,000 in sales, the book, additional sales. So it's been quite exciting. It's been quite the journey since then to realize, there was an industry need. And, it wasn't like I launched something in a weekend, made $1 million. And I think that's a myth anyway. So that was not my style at all. I really set out to solve what I saw was a huge industry need. And like even today, like 4 days ago, I heard from somebody who reached out and said, you don't know how much that book helped me in my first career 3 years ago in content marketing. So it's really rewarding. You might not have $1 million in a weekend, but if you impact people, hear from them years later, and now, we have other programs to offer her, other resources to give her. So it's just amazing, to create something that bridges a gap rather than let's just create a course. So that's my story and kind of my perspective on it.
Couple interesting things there. It sounds like, I guess what I'm trying to tackle here is it's easy as a beginning creator, or even if you already have a freelance business and you're trying to enter into education or educational products, it's easy to go, other people are doing it, I don't need to do it. So can you get a little more specific about like what that feeling was that made you feel enabled to or have the right to or feel the desire to start your own process and share that?
Yes, and that's such a great question, Jonah. I can't tell you because I coach people now, and that has got to be one of their biggest questions. They're like, well, Julia, there's 1 million people in the industry doing this. Why should I even try?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a pain point. So, what I saw, what prompted the whole thing was a conversation with a client. I still remember it, January of 2017, where this client we had a personal relationship, and he was just like, will you just come and train our office? So I had one client, one person that needed this. And that was what prompted me to think, okay, I think if this person sees me as a good fit to go and teach his office, then why wouldn't I be able to reach a whole market of additional people like him if I just build that relationship and build great products? So I didn't even think about that. Like, okay, that's my competition. That's big stuff. I'm little peas over here. But it never even occurred to me at the time because all I thought of was my one client that said, hey, would you come in our office and teach? And that was almost like permission granted. So that would be my advice. If you have one person even that says, hey, I could benefit from what you have to share, like put your horse blinds on and like just look at that one client and forget all the other competition where, I could have told that client, oh, just go hire Robert Rose and have his whole team come in and train your office, which interestingly enough turns out years later, hindsight is 2020, that was more corporate than what they ever would have wanted. So my very nitty gritty, practical, I call it like realistic style of content marketing was actually something that was very much needed at the time. But again, I didn't even see it because I was like so busy taking action after I got that permission from one client. So like that's all it
Yeah.
takes.
I love that, really focusing on one transformation to start and then
Yes.
pulling the value from there. Digging a little deeper, I want to talk about some of the actual products you offer. So you mentioned you've been on Teachable for quite a while now. And when you came to Teachable, was that your first foray into digital products, or did you already have digital downloads and other products that you were building? What was your process of figuring out what product you should build first and where you were going to
Yeah.
offer it?
Yeah. So Teachable was my first digital anything. We had been doing services, but that was through e-commerce, like completely different world. Like you pay us, we get it done. Okay, that's checked. So digital downloads, ebooks, guides, courses, that was completely new for me. And at the time I was studying, I don't even think Kajabi was out yet. I was studying all the platforms and then like Kajabi rolled out right after I signed up. But what I saw about Teachable was like there was a real commitment from the leadership team to excellence. And I didn't really see that as something that stuck out from the other platforms. And I'm really glad actually that I picked Teachable because I've seen a lot of value. And it's funny because I know creators that are moving off the other platforms for Teachable now. And I just never want to do that. I never want to have a platform move because we have so much content now, so much. So Teachable was definitely my first and came after a lot of research. And, the first course I launched was nothing small. It was a comprehensive content strategy and marketing certification program, contentstrategycourse.com. We still run it. It's going to be 6 modules, 75 videos, like the whole thing, because that matched what the industry needed. Like the industry really needed, like, okay, how do we actually create a content strategy plan for a website that'll generate real traffic and income? And that's just not, you can't really wrap that up in a single little downloadable. You can try, but I don't think people will really get the skill set. So that's why the first product was a behemoth and it took me about 8.5 months to build.
I love hearing those success stories because it is, I think it's harder to do it that way, but it can be
Yes.
done. So then it's fun talking to you in this vein, like after you build this big behemoth, and that may work for some people, but as you expand and scale your business, not everybody needs or wants that big transformation. So what's been your process in either breaking that down or identifying new transformations or products you could build to get to the point of having like a digital download or something that may be small but you're confident actually offers something?
Yes. I think that what I'm seeing, especially in the last quarter of this year, is really the economy is impacting people's ability to buy bigger programs. And I know like there's a lot of people that are saying, oh, high ticket still is the best thing to sell, yada, yada. But really, what I see, what it comes down to in our list, which is about 5,000 different people at all levels from, executive leaders to the brand new marketer that Like we had a mom of twins that is just starting to get into marketing, which I love. We love helping those people. So we have that wide range and we see what people can afford and what they can't. And the reality is like they're very afraid to put anything, I would say over $1,000. They're really afraid to put down if they don't have a real reason to buy that program, like either an immediate skill, like I have to learn this for a job, maybe my job will pay for it, or I really know, like, and trust this person. I know this will be the right transformation. So, what we've done to really bridge that gap, because we see so much hesitation, I would say more than I've ever seen. I would have organic traffic just hit buy now on the Teachable link for $999, not even talk to us like 2 years ago, all the time. So we don't
Wow.
have that anymore. And I really think it's because of the recession and what's happening. Like you just can't ignore what's happening in the world as much
Yeah.
as you would like to. So, it's ignore the recession. Sometimes you can't. What we basically did was repurpose some content from those bigger courses and turn it into downloadables and smaller courses. Not even courses, really. It's been mostly a downloadable. So it's a very short, quick win, usually under $50. And we just take it from something that's already been proven, which is why I really like the idea of, like, even if you don't create your master course, if you were to lay it all out in a Google spreadsheet and say, these are my, 5 comprehensive modules. This is what I would teach if I was taking somebody all the way from A to Z in my knowledge. Like, just get that out on a spreadsheet and then see what you can create as a small win from that. And I think it's a lot easier to work from that way versus how can I create a small win? And then you're just like trying to put that guide together. But if you pull it from your best stuff, then I think the transformation is even bigger. And it's really cool when we have people that are like, I was able to create a whole process for my team from this $47 product. And that's because we tested it in our bigger program. We knew it worked, so we could pull it out of there and sell it in the digital downloadable.
I love that perspective because I think that downloadables serve two purposes. Like, we've continued to uncover the use case of downloadables, paid or free, in this way of also like, okay, you have all this content, you built a course. How do you offer those smaller pieces, or how do you scale your business to serve more people? A two-part question coming up then. Looking at the economy the way it is, or just looking towards the future at the place where you are and your goals for your business, when it comes to smaller products like downloadables, what is the like primary use that you're excited about in like 2023, how you think you might use those? Then also, are there ways in which you would have used downloadables differently looking back at your path to building that big transformation?
Yes, yes. Great question. I think that, whether we're in a recession or not, if we are, you definitely should do this. But if we're not, even, I think bridging the gap, right? Like, that is so important. Bridging that gap of trust, like to get somebody to trust you to go all in on a coaching program or just a longer duration of time, which most courses that are bigger usually are. So for them to go that extra length, it's very rare that they'll just jump into it unless, like, you're Brendan Bouchard or whatever the industry hero is that has hundreds of thousands of followers. So if that's not you, then it's really important to bridge the gap and create some trust with a $9, a $37, a $47 product. And making that a digital downloadable is amazing. Especially like the way we structured it when we launched it with you was we could do an audio file, narrate a little bit of what was in the guide, get people interested enough to use it. Creating that excitement, like, that is so understated. Getting people excited to use a digital product. And that's how we used the audio file, was to narrate, this is why we created it. This is how we think it'll help you. And so building that excitement just for 2 minutes, gets people to really put it to good use. So we did that. And then the other files, we pulled some of the pieces out of the guide and just gave them, here's the 2-page template itself and the links to the Loom videos that show you how to set up the exact template, because it was a content management process template for your team and your calendar. So us being able to do that in the digital downloadable feature makes for a better product experience, I think. Especially for the people that don't have time, for the people that might quickly move on. There are definitely a lot of just compulsive product buyers out there that if they see it, they like the marketing, they'll buy it, they'll never open it. You don't want that. You want people to open it, use it, so they can move to the next step with you and really get inside your ecosystem. So I'm really excited just at the way I think we were able to build that product. When we launched it, we had replies coming in all night. People were emailing us, they were posting in my free Facebook group. It looked like the way we packaged it really got them to dive in. So for me, it was like, what's our most unique offering that we can give away that maybe nobody has seen yet, nobody has done yet? And for us, that template, like you're not going to find that anywhere else on the entire internet. So when you have a product like that, like it's definitely going to do better in sales. Marketing can only go so far if the product itself isn't good. So that really helped us too. And then seeing how many people were using it, within 2 weeks, we've had almost 40 people buy it. So that's been really exciting.
That's awesome. I want to have a whole nother conversation about that thought process of building a digital download. You really took full advantage of the ability to include multiple files and create kind of a mini course-esque experience, or really a multimedia experience. Thank you so much, Julia. It's always a blast talking to you and getting another little window into your business and how you structure things, and your mind around it and everything is so valuable. So
Yes.
appreciate it as always. And thank you so much for being here. We'll talk to you soon again.
Thank you, Jonah.